Alrighty. Well, hello and welcome to another AgencyTribe session. So we're glad to have you join us today. I'm Barry Alt. Ursula Richard, my co-host, is not with us today as she's taking her first session in an immersive boot camp. So we wish her luck there. She's kind of stressed out about that. Today's guest is Clifford Almeida. Hope I didn't mangle that too bad, Cliff. From My Web Audit, Cliff will demonstrate a powerful way of getting new leads and will show us how a 10-minute web audit with actionable results can turn our prospects into customers. Growing companies is what Cliff loves to do. In his 18+ years in the web and digital marketing space, he has created, planned, and helped implement websites and digital marketing strategies for companies of varying sizes across industries across the globe. Cliff is CEO of HireAWiz.com, a web agency that has a portfolio ranging from small businesses, nonprofits, to Fortune 500 companies. He's also the founder of MyWebAudit.com, a SaaS that helps web professionals and digital marketers generate and close more deals using actionable website audits. Welcome, Cliff.
Thanks so much, Barry.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, Cliff. So everybody knows how, most everybody here knows how this works. We're on Zoom. Cliff's going to share a screen. He has a presentation he's going to go through. If you have questions, Cliff will stop periodically through to ask questions, but if you want to put questions in the chat, I will monitor those and can ask them of Cliff as we go along. Once we're done, we go an hour and then we go 30 minutes if we need to. If we get done sooner, we'll head out for the day, but take it away, Cliff.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to presenting this with you. So ultimately, today we'll be covering, in essence, a process that hundreds of agencies from ours to others all around the globe, and how they leverage website audits both to generate leads as well as close more deals that are in their pipeline. My goal here is not only to just give you some information that you can take or talk about a tool, but to actually give you actionable strategies that you can implement right away. My goal here is that with some of these strategies I give you, by the end of this month, you should be able to have a few $1,000s or more closed in your business by leveraging these, right? So don't worry about taking notes. There will be a recording, as Barry promised. You will have a copy of my slide deck. And then obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Most of you know how. If not, I'll be sharing my contact information at the end. All right, so who's this workshop for? Ultimately, this workshop is for those of you that are looking for a way to deliver value easily. What I mean by that, ultimately, when you speak to a prospect or you're talking to a lead, you're going to need to show them that you can deliver them value for them to pay attention or to work with you. And so if you're looking for an easy way to do that, or you're looking for a proven lead generation strategy that you can leverage in many different channels, or you're looking to grow your business faster and easier. And I don't want to say faster and easier, meaning you don't do any work. There is no silver bullet. Like John Hinshaw says, there's just a lot of lead bullets, no silver bullets, right? So that's what it's for. Again, a little bit about me. At the end of the day, we've worked with large companies all around the world. I just say this so that you guys know that we know what we're talking about. Over 20 years of experience in this field. Married with 2 kids, love to travel, and love what I do. Okay? I just shared this here because I want to let you know that unlike a lot of people in our industry, like you guys, I'm in the midst of it, working to run our agency, and everything I'm sharing here works in our industry and is for our industry. All right? So the things that we will be covering here, ultimately, if you're dealing with lead generation, I know there are people here who already are customers but aren't really leveraging this for lead generation. But I'm going to show you how you can kind of do that. Lead generation is a big problem in our industry, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Dealing with tire kickers, right? Those that come in, you speak to them, they're interested in your services. All of a sudden, you talk to them about pricing and then they disappear, right? Struggling to deliver value without investing a ton of work. And being seen as a commodity where they say, well, I can build a website for $100 on Wix or whatever. And they try to compare you with outsourced agencies, or there's trying to talk about an intern that did a website for them for $800. We want to completely separate you from those types of people. They shouldn't even be considered competition, right? One of the biggest ones is losing deals to low ballers. I dealt with that early on in my agency, and it always sucks. So what are some ways you can put things like value and build trust in place in order to ensure that that doesn't happen when you're working with the right type of clients, standing out from the competition, and then obviously closing more deals. A lot of people focus a ton on lead generation. For most of you out there that probably are under $1 million in revenue, you should be focusing probably a lot. Always focus on lead generation, but make sure that the deals that you do get, the people that you do speak to, that you close a higher percentage of those. And we want to speak about that. So I say, I hope this isn't you, because if you're struggling with these things, the good news though is we will be speaking about ways to solve them, right? So three key goals here. I'm going to be talking to you about the benefits of website audits, what they can do for your business, no matter what platform you use, but how to leverage them for lead generation, as well as how to specifically use them in your sales process to close more deals. Look, for those of you who know a little bit about me, we run a software as a service called My Web Audit. And the truth is, in my agency, we spent hundreds of hours over the years just learning how to build and use audits. We used a combination of Moz, Raven Tools, Majestic SEO, and we just kind of compiled everything together. And we spent hundreds of hours. We've generated tens of thousands of dollars in discovery and audits. But the truth was, it took a ton of time. It required a ton of piecemealing, putting things together, right? So what we would do is we'd run tools from different applications, generate the reports, put them together. We take what we needed from each, right? Because when you deal with, for example, SpyFu, or you're looking at SEMrush, it's more PPC stuff. When you're looking at Moz, it's more SEO stuff. And so we had to kind of take everything together, snapshot each one, because each report looked different, and then reword areas that, we could, and then format it to look good. And so this is kind of what my old audits used to look like back in, 2014, 2015. And ultimately, our process went from, again, just running different tools, patching it together, and then providing it to the client, who paid us anywhere, from $999 up to $2,000 or $3,000, and we included that with discovery, right? So what we didn't know at that time was ultimately there were a ton of different ways to help them. So all we were looking at that point was web design, or we look at some things that were related to SEO, but not everything that we needed to provide them a holistic solution. The other big thing was we didn't really know how to use this in the sales process. We knew we had these reports, and we would just kind of give it to them and tell them, hey, look, this is part of your discovery deliverable. I'm going to pause for a second. Barry, I assume everyone or most people on here have some concept of discovery, correct? You're on mute, Barry, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people that are in here do.
Okay.
Some I'm not so sure. Some are some new members that I don't know. So
okay. All right. So for those of y'all that don't know what discovery is, ultimately you're doing pre-planning and strategy, where you analyze, ask the questions, and ultimately are able to cover scope of work and a strategy and a solutions presentation to help give them a holistic idea of what they need when they're working with you. Right. One of the bigger things that happened here was that I didn't really know how to prove my value. So I had this report and I gave it to them, and it kind of made me look good because I uncovered insights that they had never seen, but I didn't really know how to connect that specifically with delivering value, and more importantly, charging on the value I was delivering. And then the last most important thing here that you guys can take away from this, no matter what presentation application you use, is that you want to make sure that you present it the right way. So the three secrets, and I won't even really call these three secrets, but the three things after years of trial and error that I discovered. One was to measure what matters to the prospect, right? So for example, if a website has 3,000 visitors a month and the business is not getting any leads, don't speak to them about generating more traffic. What you want to do is focus on how you can convert the existing traffic, right? And you want to make sure that you prioritize the information based off impact and ROI. What do I mean by that? So let's just say you dived into the website analytics and you realized that 50% of the traffic that was coming to the website or the landing page was mobile. but the website wasn't optimized for mobile, right? So in this case, in order to get a win, get it as fast as possible so they see the return on investment of the services, prioritize the task of optimizing their website or their landing page for mobile, to convert on mobile, right? So measure what matters, prioritize, and then the most important one is presented in a way that can be understood and valued. This is where we switched everything around with My Web Audit. Ultimately, instead of creating the website audit messaging to work for agency owners like us, we ultimately have positioned it for the business owner. We want to make sure that the reports make sense to the business owner. They understand why they should invest in it and what the challenge is if they do not invest in it, or what, in essence, what's the opportunity loss. And so the important thing here is that if you're looking to generate leads, make sure you prioritize, again, what matters to them. When you're looking to close the lead, make sure you present it in a manner that they understand and value. Okay, so I want to also let you know this, John Hinshaw taught me this, is that ROI, when you speak to them, when you speak to your prospects, clients, leads, understand that ROI is not always measured in terms of revenue. Most oftentimes it is, but not always. Examples of that would be, for example, if you provide them a priority service, if you ensure that you handle their hosting and everything is secure and up to date, that gives them a peace of mind. Ensuring that their website is up 24/7 allows them to continue to do business. So there's a return on investment there. Ultimately, if you build web applications or you build tools that help them systemize processes and save time, that's another way of measuring return on investment. All right, so make sure, again, that you present the information in a way that the owner can understand. Don't go into too much detail. At the end of the day, what they're looking for is how can you solve their expensive problem, and ultimately how can that help them grow their business. That's it. So if you can focus specifically on that, you will win more than you will lose, right? So what I tell people is running audits look like this. For those of y'all that have family, you know how it looks like, right? To have a holiday or any sort of holiday portrait or family picture taken. The truth is, my goal is to walk you through a system that will show you how to do this and for you to experience this type of ecstasy in your agency, all right? So I'm going to pause right there to see if y'all have any specific questions. I see some things coming in the chat. So Barry, do we have any specific questions you'd like me to answer at this point?
Nothing here in the chat.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to quickly switch over so that you can take a look here and see what a website audit looks like. So I'm going to switch this for those of y'all who don't know what a website audit looks like. This will give you a little context to the next areas I'm going into. So our application has two views. One is like a report view in a PDF, and the other one is a presentation view like a PowerPoint. So, the things that we want to look at here, we're not really going to be speaking heavily on a lot of the technical stuff, right? So we cover things like user experience. We tell the business owner literally why user experience matters. Then we cover specific areas of user experience. Then we move into conversion optimization, an area agencies don't really speak about, but it matters. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many people come to your site if they don't convert into a lead or a customer. So one stat we tell them is, look, you're probably spending on marketing. Did you know that 97% of visitors are not oftentimes interested in purchasing something, and most people spend $92 to bring someone to the site, but only $1 to convert them. Like, that stat changes their mindset from realizing that, look, outside of just marketing, it's really important to ensure that the end goal or the storefront online, which is their website, needs to be optimized to woo them, to engage them, and to convert them. Right. So again, I'm just showing this to you so you understand what I'm talking about when we speak about website audits. For those of you that don't use it, or may be thinking of tools like Screaming Frog or some other tool that just spits out a bunch of technical jargon, this is what that would look like. Okay. So if you wait till the end, I'll kind of show you how you can generate these in 5 to 10 minutes, less than 5, and then we'll go from there. So one of the biggest things that we face in our agency, and we know hundreds of others do as well, is the fact that ultimately when a prospect comes in, usually their goal is to say, hey, I want more leads. How can you help me generate more leads, get me more traffic, and grow my business? But the truth is, ultimately, I talk to them and say, hey, look, your website is like a leaky bucket, right? Ultimately, trying to increase more sales simply by driving more traffic is like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. You're not going to be able to retain it, and you're going to lose, the marketing spend that you're using to generate traffic. You're not going to get the best return on investment on it. So I tell them what you need to do is plug all the holes, right? So for those of y'all who do digital marketing, SEO, inbound or outbound, you understand when you drive traffic to a website that's not optimized to convert, ultimately you're not going to get the best results. So that's why with the way we do website audits, we measure what matters in terms that the business owner will understand and will get the best results on. So the 4 key pillars of what we end up auditing, and again, no matter what system you use, I highly recommend you use some sort of combination of this, is user experience, right? How professional and user-friendly is the website? Conversion optimization, which is ultimately, how well the site converts visitors into customers. Performance and security, now you'll know with Google, there's a huge emphasis on SSL, page performance, mobile page speed, all of those things. So we measure those things. And then ultimately online visibility. For what we do here, we just talk about on-site because things get very hairy when you start talking about backlinks and domain ranking and page authority. We might speak to them about some of that, but we don't go deep into that, right? So all of our audits, no matter what we do, include these 4 areas. And then we do we're a WordPress agency, so we do a lot of WordPress work. So on top of it, we may talk about copy, we may talk about legal terms and conditions they need to apply, as well as a WordPress technical assessment. Okay, so again, you've already seen what a report looks like. We'll kind of go from there. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of talk to you about lead generation and where that goes, right? So ultimately, the secret to lead generation, the cool thing about our agency, unlike a lot of people out there, is that we have a pipeline. We continue to build into that pipeline. And the cool part now is we're 2 months away from actually being able to take on new work just because of the way our sales pipeline has worked. And so I wanted to tell you like the 5 key things that I could share with those of you that are struggling with lead generation right now. The big ones are, no matter what you're doing, make sure you deliver value. Having a niche really, really helps, or niche, however you pronounce it, but making sure you deliver value. And ultimately, the only way you can deliver value is by identifying what the biggest challenges, problems, desired goals are for your target audience, and then be able to position that value there. And solving an expensive problem is the easiest way to do that, right? Figure out what the most expensive problem in your niche is, and then be able to present yourself as a solution. And then personalize your services to their needs, right? At the end of the day, oftentimes people say things like, hey, I can help you do this. But if you can specifically show them a case study, if you can talk about, you understanding the problems in their industry and how you've overcome them for other people, it may not be a case study, but speaking in some sort of specifics to them really, really helps. And a lot of people don't want to hear things like, hey, we do web design for X, right? They want to be able to connect at the next level, which is, hey, here's the problem that we've understood in the home remodeling space or with dentists, and here's how we've solved that, right? So if you can give them a case study, at least speak about some things that can connect directly to their challenges. The biggest one is specialize and build trust and authority. And we use website audits to do that because we're able to show versus tell. We're able to deliver a ton of value. And then we take our case studies and we take obviously all our reviews, etc. This has taken time, but we are, Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the country. And we are the #1 rated web design agency in Phoenix. I am a small under 10% agency. It's just taken a lot of time and effort to continue to get reviews and build that out. But now when we tell people to go check out our reviews, to check out our case studies, we've built the authority, trust, and established enough of our expertise for it to be a no-brainer as long as we can align with things like their scope or ultimately what their investment or budget is. And the big thing with lead generation is taking action daily. A friend of mine said that if all you do is take projects on, execute them, and then look for the next project after you're done, you're going to be working in a feast to famine cycle. But if you just allocate about 30 minutes a day or even just 2 hours a week to reach out, and I'll kind of talk to you about a few ways you can do that, you will definitely see results, and that will compound over time. And 6 months to a year from now, you will have no problems with leads. But remember, you have to take action daily. I say, continued incremental results over time will snowball into huge impact. And so please take action. Okay. So now we'll speak about the specific benefits of website audits. The truth is, there is no better way, in my opinion, to deliver value upfront as fast as possible than with the right website audit, right? Because ultimately you're able to personalize your services to their needs. What do I mean by that? Instead of telling people like, hey, we do web design or we do SEO, you're able to show them and say, hey, look, we noticed your website pulls up like this on mobile. We noticed that your page speed was 80 out of 100 or 35 out of 100 on desktop or mobile. And so you can specifically talk to them about what you can do by showing them specifically what they need on their website. It enables you to give them a 360 look at things, right? So now you're able to identify challenges and opportunities they've never even thought about. And then you're able to establish your expertise and build trust, because the truth is this: anyone that's speaking to you is probably speaking to at least 2 or 3 other people in regards to their website. Once you move through, the discovery proposal stages, that might, go down to 1 or 2 or none. But the truth is, when you are able to articulate to them and show them a report that looks like you've spent hours doing it, they're going to be like, wow, this person cares. This person knows what they're doing. And it builds that expertise that you need to differentiate yourself from the competition. What's really neat also about a website audit is it allows you to prioritize. So the way we have ours set up, it actually tells you the impact you can make on the website based off of the goals. And then ultimately, whether the client doesn't have the budget or you're trying to get your foot in the door, it helps you prioritize, in essence, the efforts and the tasks in order to determine how best to get results. When you're able to do this effectively with website audits, you can definitely stand out from the competition and close more deals. And the same thing goes with when you're leading out with, whether that's, offering some sort of audit to people over the phone, right? Calling local businesses in your area, reaching out to them on LinkedIn or on Facebook, whatever that may be. When you're leading with value, and I'll give you an exact template that's worked, and you guys can kind of see how that would work versus, hey, I offer website audits. Okay, and ultimately, for us, the success has come from a method that we call the GIVE method, which the G stands for generosity, give upfront, give in abundance, I is for information. At the end of the day, your prospect is facing an expensive problem, right? Every day they sit on it, and you've identified these problems, and it's costing them a ton of money. So give them the information they need on how to solve it. V is for value, right? Focus on delivering value. Again, like I said, giving them a report doesn't give them that much value unless they take that report and maybe pass it on to their existing web person. So make sure that you are able to take the information and present it so that it's positioned as something of high value that solves, again, an expensive problem or desired goal of theirs, right? E is for education. Ultimately, you've provided them information. It's been of value. You want to educate them about how things look like if they work with you. Talk to them about ultimately what that end result would look like and how you can help get them there. And when you're done educating them, ultimately you'll realize that the sale will come much faster, much easier, and with a ton more trust. Okay. The cool thing about this is, I don't know how many of you deal with people saying things like, well, what if we did that? Or, I think the font needs to look like this, or the logo should be a little bigger up there, or I think that contact form should be red. But the truth is, when you position the website audit and you go through the research and you talk to them, they're going to be like, wow, this company knows what they're doing. They understand what it looks like to build an effective website. I'm going to trust them. And that's what you want. At the end of the day, when someone keeps second guessing the work you're delivering or the recommendations you're making, then you're not the subject area expert in their eyes anymore. And that's how ultimately things like scope creep or dissatisfaction, expectation gaps, and communication issues start coming up, right? So I'm going to give you a few actionable ways that you can go ahead and start generating leads using website audits. The first one is existing customers and working with past clients, right? So there's no easier way to generate revenue than to connect with people you're already doing work with, and tell them things like, hey, look, over the last year, the standards have changed for mobile, the standards have changed for page performance, the standards have changed for, conversion optimization, what Google looks for SEO, right? And then position a report. Talk to them. Never just give them the report. Say, hey, I'd love to schedule a call with you to talk to you about, certain things that are changing in the industry and how we can be proactive and get better results for you, right? Find your top 3 to 5 past clients that maybe you lost over the last 3 to 5 years, and reach out to them with value and say, hey, look, hey, John, and I, we have templates on this as well. But ultimately, hey, John, took a look at your site. Looks like not a lot has changed. Wanted to let you know that, our business is transformed considerably. We now measure XYZ, and would love to, here's 5 things we found about your website. And if you'd like to speak about it, and, we'd love to work with you again. If you'd like to talk, please, reply back with a good time, or click here to pick a time from my calendar. And that's a great way to do that. But existing clients, any of you that have at least 10 clients should be able to generate $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 from them. And again, don't be worried about them saying like, why did I miss this? Because the truth is that everything keeps changing over time. The cool part about our website audit application is that you can show and hide specific things. So for example, if you're not great with page optimization, you don't really want to focus much on that because you just launched the site, you can actually hide that. Now, my recommendation is not to do those things, but to proactively address them so they have better results. But my point is you can customize the reporting as needed. Another great way is for those of you that have a niche, connect with social media groups on LinkedIn and Facebook, get in there, add value, and then I'll show you a template here where literally you can post something like that saying, hey, I'm only offering this to people here because, I'm looking to deliver value to the group. For the first 5 people who submit this, submit your URL below. I'll come back to you with 10 actionable ways that you can help generate more leads or double your conversion rates, right? And we've taken 20 years of knowledge, expertise, 8,000 hours plus of development and research, putting this together to build something that you can bank on. So ultimately, if you follow the formula of what we're offering in our application and our reporting, you actually can deliver tremendous results to your customers very easily, right? And so position that on social media is really important. Offering this as a lead magnet on your website, right? So on our agency site, we tell them, you're looking for ways to generate more leads, improve your SEO, and grow your business. Submit, click here, and then they fill that out. It works way better than a PDF because, again, you're giving them personalized results versus some sort of report to read that in most cases they're not going to read. Again, our goal here is to get the contact information and then schedule a strategy call. Request for referrals from your network. This is a great way, whether you're connecting with existing customers of yours and saying, hey, here's an audit for you. I'd love you to, offer me 2 or 3 other people that you think could benefit from this. I'm not going to sell them anything. Just want to deliver value. If they see there's a fit, would love to work with them. When you're going to a Chamber of Commerce or BNI or any other networking events, this is a great offer to give them versus, hey, I do websites. Would you like to set up a strategy call? It could be, hey, I don't know what your website looks like, but if you'd like me to, do a quick website analysis and give you, 5 to 10 personalized recommendations on how you can get more leads or convert more visitors into customers, give me a card or, drop me a line and I'll take care of that for you. And that works a lot better. The biggest one, and Barry, this was for you, for, all the other people that specifically already use My Web Audit, is use this in your pipeline. And we actually have a full video on how to present it. But the truth is this: someone comes and speaks to you. I don't know how you guys handle your prospect calls, but ours goes this way. Someone reaches out to us, whether it's an inbound, and I have a slide here, I'll briefly cover that. But simply put, someone reaches out to us via email or a call. I usually give them 5 minutes of the time and say, hey, I need to know a little bit more about your business, and then fill out our intake form. They fill out the intake form, we schedule a call. I spend 60 seconds or less about me saying, hey, you guys already know about me, best rated, B plus, BBB, A plus rating, all of those type of things. And I tell them, look, what would it look like to knock this call out of the ballpark? What would I need to do? And then they'll tell me like, well, effectively tell me how, you can solve my problem. Then I actually go into the website audit. I spend 20 minutes covering key areas that I've identified in like 5 to 10 minutes. That's all my sales prep is, whereas before it would take me 30, 40 minutes to an hour to kind of review things. Now in 5 to 10 minutes, can get some great actionable points I can cover. And they're like, wow. So my next steps after that are like, look, I didn't use this time to sell you and talk to you about why you should pick me. The truth is I wanted to deliver value. So if you think based off of what I've shared, I'm a good fit, the next step would be, strategies, paid strategy session, consultation calls, discovery, whatever you may want to call that. Right. And so make sure you use these in your pipeline. Now, if you don't lose any leads and you're converting 100% of your leads, then I would say you're probably good to go. But if not, you definitely want to make sure you find some way to deliver value. For those of you all that are already My Web Audit customers, or you have some other way to add value during that initial call, do it, because that helps them stop from saying, I should give another company 30 minutes, or I should speak to that other company and ask for a proposal from them. Because when you position this effectively and you're able to show them how you can deliver results versus just tell them, it's a game changer. All right. And then again, like I said, at networking events, one of the biggest things you can also do there is speak to the person hosting it, right? If these are larger events, to just say, hey, I'd like to help sponsor part of this, or I'd like to make an announcement as being part of the Chamber of Commerce for my city. I'd like to offer this audit to the first 25 customers for free. We usually charge $3.99 or $4.99 or $9.99, whatever you want to charge. But my point is, that's a great way to do one-to-many marketing. Or if you're in a group and you have influencers, talk to them about adding value and giving the audit out as a value add for that community. For those of you that already leverage things like social media or paid ads, this is a great way to be able to add value as a tripwire or as a lead magnet by generating paid traffic over to it and then converting them. A lot of the larger agencies that we work with, they use this as local workshops. So they put up an ad and say, hey, we're doing a workshop in-house. Come in, we'll talk to you about, in essence, how we can help you with your website, your digital marketing strategy, your, inbound, outbound, things like that. And then what they do is they run these audits, they cover it in the workshop, and then they sell them into discovery. But then at this time, they're working with 15 people. In the workshop, they charge anywhere from $2.99 to giving it for free, and then they go from there. The whole point, though, is to get people that are interested. You can qualify them if you're super busy. If not, you just obviously try to generate the leads. And then obviously those of you that do LinkedIn outreach or email outreach or calls, again, leveraging website audits is a great way to deliver value up front, to give the person something of interest and of value. Okay, so then we have generating revenue. At the end of the day, the 5 key areas that I want to talk to you about, if you're leveraging website audits or you want to, the 5 different ways that you can do this, and the benefits of doing that is that it helps you close deals faster. Because you've already kind of showed them, there's less telling them. Because you've showed them, you've built more trust. So your sales cycles have been shortened. It's a great way to get you in the door. So for example, our average websites go for $10,000 now. And so a lot of companies we work with just don't have $10,000 right up front to work with us. And so what we do is we show them the audit and say, hey, look, okay, we're a results-driven agency. And that's on our website. It's everywhere in our marketing material. Look, here's 4 or 5 things we've identified. It's going to cost about $4,500. We can solve these issues in your business in the next month, and you're going to see the results in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Once you do that, would you be interested in a fully committed redesign, or committing to solve all the other problems we've identified? Oftentimes the answer is yes. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door by prioritizing what matters most to them. It's a great productized service to get you, again, get ultimately some sort of productized, reliable, scalable, repeatable service out there, where you say something like, hey, look, for X amount, what we do is we analyze your site, we give you a report, and we tell you how much it's going to cost to fix everything. For those of you that do monthly retainers or care plans, this is again a great way to, ultimately push out 60, 80, 100, 200 hours of work out by running these in-depth audits, and then potentially showing them what could be done and telling them, look, you're on a 5-hour or 10-hour a month retainer. Here's what we can do. Again, we're prioritizing everything, and we go from there. And for those of you that only do web design or only do e-commerce, etc., the good news is, depending on, again, what sort of system you're using, ours is a great way to introduce and cross-sell services. So that means, we can talk a little bit about conversion rate optimization, talk about page speed, and ultimately page speed is a service we've generated tens of thousands of dollars on, where a lot of people just kind of throw it in. But the truth is, it's harder and harder now to get scores of 80 or 90 plus on Google, on desktop and mobile. And so we charge for that. That's not a standard service. Or if you don't do SEO, work with a white label SEO partner and have them present part of the SEO stuff, or cover what we show, and then bring them in the sales process. But it's just a really, really good way to bring in a 360 full digital agency perspective to the client and be able to offer it that way. Again, the way our system is set up, it's personalized so that if you want to show or hide specific things, you could do that. Okay, I'm going to leave this. I'm going to kind of skip this out, but at the end, and if we have time, maybe we can kind of come back to this. But specifically here, I just wanted to show you our agency process. This is both inbound and outbound, and again, everything here is leading with value, and then taking them from a prospect out through to some sort of paid strategy before we go through and do a presentation. In fact, we've refined our process, and I don't recommend this for everybody, but we don't even do proposals. We only do agreements. So once we do discovery, we go through a solutions presentation, and there they have an idea of the investment and what we're going to be proposing. If they say yes, they get an agreement that they have to pay a deposit and sign on, versus like a proposal where they can kind of take it, shop it, or look at other alternatives. So we only go through to the agreement once they've given us a verbal okay on our presentation. But that's another story. Okay, so what I did want to share with you here is that, look, I wish someone had told me earlier on in my business to prospect and qualify wisely, right? Not everyone's your ideal customer. If you can work with a barber, or you can work with the home remodeler, the barber charges $50, $25 to $50, $100, maybe on the higher end. A remodeler is going to charge you thousands of dollars, 5, 10, 20, 30,000 for a remodel, right? So find people who can pay for your services easily. You can deliver multiple X of ROI easily. All right, be intentional with your follow-up. For those of you, who know about cold email or cold calling, make sure you follow up until you get a no, or until at least 4 or 5 times over a 2-week period. Build relationships. Everyone tries to get sold on something somewhere. Add value, add more points of interaction. A lot of people say don't, shoot an email or don't give a call. And I just tell you, treat other people like you want to be treated. The golden rule there: educate and deliver value before you try to sell them. Everyone's being sold something or the other and being told, their wish list can be addressed. And so, lead with value, educate them on how you can help them, and the sale will come if there's a good fit there. And the biggest thing here is measure KPIs, right? Like, identify your lead sources, consider the volume, the quantity, conversion rates. Sometimes you'll realize that Facebook doesn't convert as great as all these gurus say, but LinkedIn outreach does. And so just make sure that you measure and you identify where your leads are coming from, how much how much revenue you're generating from them, and what percentage you're closing, things like that. So what I wanted to tell you, here's a look at our agency side, right? So as I was telling you, we talk about, being driven by results. We talk about some case studies, we show our awards and affiliations. Here's our website audit. There's another way for them to reach out to us. So, we have a great website. But what happens at the end of the day when all of that still isn't good enough? What happens when you want to charge on value? So my question to you here, I'm going to pause for a second, see if any of y'all have any questions, and just ask. If you could put something here in the comments, how many of you charge on value? Do y'all charge on value, or do you just charge on scope? Okay, so Mike says combo, combination of both. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, good. So depending on what we're doing, this is why I highly recommended identifying an expensive problem. Clyde, thank you. I did not want to butcher it. My fear of failing here. So look, at the end of the day, what I tell people is it's really, really, really important to focus on ROI. It's really, really important to focus on solving expensive problems, right? Ultimately, they say that you close a sale when a prospect's perceived value of what you're offering is higher than the investment. So I'm not sure. So those of you that said, you charge on value or there's a combination, how many of you use some sort of return on investment calculator or run through some metrics, whether it's through discovery or not? Okay, so I'm waiting to see. Okay, metrics through discovery, great. Okay, Mike, yeah, so you're doing, all the best practices there. What I'm telling you is in our application and through our discovery, this is kind of what we put together as well in our sales process. Oftentimes, even on a prospect call, depending on if I know that the high transaction client, I try to talk to them and get some guesstimates. Even if they can't pull out all the details, I'll get some guesstimates. So ultimately, I'll just ask them 5 questions. What do they think their average monthly traffic is, their monthly leads, their qualified leads, what do they, how many of them they close? And then I focus on customer lifetime value. Once I get that, I'm able to give them some basics that they probably didn't even know. And then I can talk to them and say, hey, look, if we can just increase your conversion rate by 1%, which 100% I can assure them I can do that, I can add $13,000 a month to your bottom line in this scenario. $36,000 if I can do 30% increase in traffic and 1% conversion. And then I can talk to them about the annual bottom lines. But my point is, once I can speak to them and show them this and talk to them about, proven return on investment numbers and speak about specifically the numbers they're giving me and projected anticipated growth. Now, when I'm talking about $157,000 growth, and most clients are much higher than this, or $440,000 with SEO, and I talk to them about investing $30,000 to $50,000 on redesign and a $2,000 or $3,000 a month retainer for digital marketing, whatever that may look like, this no longer looks like an expense. It now, or something they should be budgeting for, but it looks like a sound investment. Does that make sense? And so I highly recommend whatever you guys do to use, some sort of mathematical equation that can help you project some numbers, because once they start seeing this, things start becoming real. Instead of them thinking about what can happen, they can actually start anticipating what this looks like. And that's when you can tell them, well, look, if you double your budget, we can actually double your traffic. And when we double your traffic, you can look at double, it's in essence projecting double or triple or quadruple or 10x the return on investment now. Okay? So I am going to take a brave soul and ask them if they'd like to have us audit their website in just a few minutes, or a target website. And so for those of you that are interested in seeing, how to deliver high value audits without spending hours and a ton of money, if I can get one brave volunteer, or if not, we'll just pick something from the web and kind of run through it. Barry. All right, so I'm going to open this up. And so, if you guys want, I can just pick up a site somewhere and we could do that as well. It's no big deal. All right, let's go ahead and pick that. So let's run with an automotive site, right? So Barry, what would be a common keyword people would look for? Would it be mechanic like in Phoenix, or what would it be?
Yeah, I focus on restoration shops, so muscle car restoration. I was actually trying to find a business card of a guy I met this weekend could do.
Would automobile restoration Phoenix work?
Yeah.
Cool. Just for the interest there. All right, look, it's 3:49. We'll be done in less than 5 minutes here, even from finding this out. All right. So let's just pick one. Let's see if we can find one that's either good or terrible or whatever. So, wow. Okay, so we don't want to work with them, or we want to tell them you just need a new site. Okay, this could work, and this could work. All right. So, all right, let's run with this. This is semi-good. Okay, so I would be looking at a site like this. All we do, we have an extension. You can run an in-app version, or you could just do this. I am going to go ahead and run with the website. The company name is ZCS Auto. So here we tie into Google GMB, and we can pull up some basic information about them. And it looks like they do classic car restoration. All right, company email, I don't know this information. We can do data enrichment. I'll show you some of that. So I'm going to kind of go in here and take a look at a couple of things. The way we do it, you click on the right, it passes. On the left, it fails. You can leave it if you want to, just if it doesn't apply.
Hey, Cliff,
yes.
if you're showing us what you're doing, it's not showing up.
Oh, it isn't?
Nope.
All right.
We still see your slide deck.
How weird is that? Okay. How about now? Do you see the website now?
Still the slide deck.
Let me try to switch that out for a second. How about now?
There you go.
All right, cool. All right, so you click the extension. You say you want to do a website audit. You do ZCS auto restoration. If it finds it, it then pre-populates information. I put classic car restoration for the keyword. I click start audit. So here you can see everything, right? So Barry, you can see my screen now?
Oh, yes. Yep.
Okay, sweet. So here, if you click on the right, it passes the audit, because this is our audit system does both manual as well as automated checks. So if you leave it alone, that ultimately just hides it. You say it's not relevant to the audit. In this case, does it have a professional website design? Would you say this is professional or not?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, I'll put that in. Relevant headlines and copy here. I'll go ahead and give that to them because it doesn't be crazy. Professional digital branding. They're using some colors. We'll be lenient here, okay? User-friendly navigation. I like this. There's not a bunch of sub-menus, all of that. Do they have a custom 404 page? I'm just going to go ahead and put in some garbage here. Oh, yep. So no, they don't. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fail them on that. Relevant of use of images and video. Yeah, I'll let them pass on that. All right, I don't need anything here. Conversion optimization. Relevant trust factors. So I don't see things like awards, accolades. I don't see reviews. So I'm going to fail them on that. Primary call to action. They do have a contact us and a phone number. I'll give them that. They have a phone number. I'll give them that as well. No form. So I'm going to tell them no. This thank you page doesn't apply here. No newsletter sign up for deals. No testimonials. No effective USP that tells them why I should work with them other than they're in Phoenix. That's not going to work. No chat functionality. Secondary call to actions. I'll give them that. No social media. All right. On the SEO side, I just go to the contact us. I know that they have a GMB, obviously because we pulled up their information. I see a blog here. In this case, I'll just double click on it because most times people say blog and they don't have anything, but it looks like they have a blog. And I'll actually check their contact us page. So they have a map and a form. So that passes. I'm going to go ahead. All right. And pass this, pass this. Performance and security. In this case, I don't know specifically. They don't have CAPTCHA, so I'll leave this alone just because they have a form here and I'm not sure. I could, I'll say that this failed. I can look at that later. I don't know about the CDN. I'll leave that alone. We're not going to do accessibility or copy for this purpose or legal. These are for more in-depth audits. I'm going to click run audit. And in about 3 minutes, we were able to do that. Obviously, you want to take a little bit more time, but anywhere from 5 minutes, 3 to 5, 7 minutes, you can do a fairly decent audit. This will open up here in just a few minutes, but I'm going to switch back over to the report. Can you see the presentation now?
Yes.
All right, we'll switch back there in just a minute. So look, at the end of the day, your business, our agencies are like a stool. Any good stool needs 3 good legs. And in our industry, that's sales, production, the development, coding, and then the service, customer service, help desk. So we have plenty of tools that help you with coding and storing customer data in CRMs and customer support desks and project management tools like Teamwork. The one that's been missing, and that I think most people on this call would be missing, is just, this tool that's really, really important to bring in the sales to help you deliver value up front, right? So my big thing is to say, don't look at what I'm going to show you or what I've showed you as a tool that just measures performance and runs reports on SEO. It truly is a tool from the ground up that's built to deliver value. From meeting one, your first interaction, you want to crush them with so much value and build so much trust and establish expertise that the sale just comes so naturally, right? This is the leg that most of us have been missing. The other ones, they're fairly easy. This one's the hardest one, in my opinion, that has been needed to be filled. And so that's why we've focused on it so much in our agency. And so ultimately, this will help you leverage a reliable lead generation system. No matter what lead generation you're using, it can fit in where it needs to. It helps you very quickly deliver value, fast and easy. Just like I showed you, we have competitive reports, ROI reports. One of the cool things that, and I'll show you here in just a second, is an e-commerce report. The cool thing is we just charged a company $4,000 for discovery and the audit report, and just closed a $64,000 deal. And that same report we used to do manually. It took us hundreds of hours to build into our app, and we release it later this week. And it literally is like a 70-page e-commerce report that can be done in 30 minutes. That will blow your mind and transform any e-commerce business you're working on. So if any of you do e-commerce, you definitely want to check that out. It's a great way to stand out from the competition, save time and money, and close deals faster. Okay. Again, happy to answer questions specific there. High overview, our application measures 90 plus points now, does manual and automated. So any automated tools that are out there, like some other ones you could look at would be, My Site Auditor, WooRank, stuff like that. Our app includes all of those and then more. Lead generation widgets, you can add this to your site, landing pages, copy, competitive reports. You can personalize everything. So the reports that I showed you, if you're working with an automobile group or car restoration versus remodel versus lawyers, you can change all the verbiage, you can hide the points, personalized call to actions, a whole bunch of other stuff. Cool part is, for those of you that do digital marketing, you can pixel people who view your audit reports as well. Everything is designed beautifully and crafted to convert. So let's see if that audit has ran now. I'm going to switch back over. Okay, so what's really interesting here now is it says audit has failed due to the following. So sometimes there might be a technical issue, the site might be slow, or there might be a third-party script that causes that to happen. I'll let that run. I'll continue on, and we'll come back to that. Okay. Michael Whale, we have, if you take a look at our success stories page, we have dozens of people raving, but we have people who say, look, it saves us a ton of money. We have landing pages like this as part of our bonuses, where literally it takes you 2 minutes to put this back up onto your site, and it captures the leads and sends them back to our application. We have the ROI calculator. So that helps answer one of the biggest questions. Should I actually invest in my website or invest in your services? Aaron Rickson, who's our copywriter, worked up on a lot of the copy here and has put this together so it easily converts when you drive people over. We have a ton of different email templates, like I was talking to you about, whether you're following up after an event, or you're reconnecting with older clients, or you're asking for a referral, whatever it may be. And here, here's a great example of an email. You can screenshot this, you'll get a copy, but of reaching out to someone you're interested to work with again that, may have walked away for whatever reason down the road. John Falk was a guy who generated $40,000 plus in revenue in a few months of working with us, and he uses WordPress and CarePlan. So he actually did a whole recorded, shared his process, gave all his templates, right, guys? We all are in this community. Barry, you and Ursula set this community up to add value. And, this is what John did, right? Like, he literally has given you all his entire process and all his templates for our members. Here's a cool message that you could use that works on LinkedIn. Again, by the way, you don't just send this to someone that you've never talked to, but this is a great way to start an introduction and then have a connection and be like, look, I'm looking to do some research, based off the impact of web design and internet marketing, digital marketing for businesses in your industry. As a business owner, what's the biggest frustration or challenge with your website, right? Your goal here is, your goal here is to get them to communicate back to you. And then when they do that, be like, hey, you know what? That's a common one we see. We do website audits, for X niche, and here's 6 other things. If you'd like a full website audit, I'd love to set up a strategy call with you. I'm not going to sell you. I'm going to deliver value. If you think there's a fit, then let's speak, right? And so that's the approach we would take. Ultimately, if you'd like to sign up, what's neat with us is we have done for you resources. We've worked with professionals like Aaron Rickson, John Hinshaw, and a whole bunch of other experts out there to get content that you'd be paying thousands of dollars to get. And we put that together. So it's not just an application. We have video resources, email templates, cold call scripts, email scripts, all you name it, we have it, right? We have a bunch of new monthly lead gen resources that are added every single month. We have premium add-ons to extend the system, to do technical audits, to add on and use the system to build your own audits for whatever specific areas you look at. We have a whole bunch of sales and coaching advice. We have a workshop to help you sell with website audits. And then we have a group. Right. So I know a lot of people will say, oh, people inflate those numbers. The truth is, I probably think my stuff's worth more than it is. But the truth is I paid that and then a lot more to get those resources. And then we keep adding to it. Right. Here's someone who values their time. So Gretchen, some of y'all may know her. We were able to save her a ton of time. And she now not only closes more deals, but she saves a ton more time building these reports as part of her discovery and sales prep. So look, my question here is, if all this could do for your business was help you generate 5 more leads, maybe close one of those, right? If you have a 20% close rate, help you sign up 1 to 2 care plans or retainers a month because you're able to show them what it can do for them, and then save you 5 to 10 hours a day. Would that be worth it, right? So our annual plans start at less than $5 a day. If you want to take a look at what that is, this is going to be different from what you see on the website, by the way. So if you go to this URL, you'll be able to see what our annual plans look like. For anyone who signs up for the annual plan, I'm doing a special bonus just with this group here. I'd give you a 30-minute consult where I'll help you with website audits or your agency. We've generated millions. We've systemized, processed, and I've been able to grow another 6-figure company in less than a year, and run my agency and work less than 40 hours a week by putting systems in place. So anything I can do to help expedite that, take my 2 decades of experience in the space and help you out so that you can get to success faster and easier, let me know. That I'm offering that as part of that deal. Look, there's tons of tools out there and many opportunities, right? All of us get hit by this every single week. Someone coming out here to speak about how you can transform your business and generate a ton more money. The truth is, just by using this app, we offer a free trial, so you can do that without even committing to anything here. But the truth is, you can get 10x to 100x ROI from just your very first deal. Again, that's the special. John Falk, who I told you about, he got 40x ROI. Paul just gave us a video. It's on our success story page. 98x ROI in less than, I think 14 months now. Right? So we have pro plans. Our pro plans are less than $2 a day. I actually don't recommend the agency plan unless you want white label and you have VAs and a sales team around you or multiple people in your agency. The pro plan in itself works just fine. The benefit on the agency plan is white label, more audits, a PowerPoint report you can actually download, and all the add-ons are free. Okay, so I'm going to, everything here, I want to let you know there's no hassles, no questions. It's a 30-day money-back guarantee on anything, as long as you haven't gone through and already ran a trial. If you commit to this, you know, you can try it out, do whatever you want. And if this is not a good fit for you, I don't want you to be paying for something that you can get results on. Okay. You guys can find me online. Cliff at My Web Audit is an email. We have a group that deals specifically with lead generation, sales. So we talk about, you know, outbound sales, inbound cold email, sales strategies, how to charge on value, all of that type of stuff. You can find us in our group. That group is free for web agencies. As long as you have a web agency or digital marketing agency, you're welcome to join us there. I'm actually going to step back away from here. Just, you know, thank you guys for your time. And Barry, Ursula, I know she's not here, but thank you for the time and this opportunity to present to your community. And I really appreciate each of you giving me your time and attention. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm actually going to take a step back and we're going to jump back in here because I wanted to show you this. Yeah, so here you go. This actually worked. And you might be like, well, Cliff, why did that fail? The truth is, you know, as you know, a lot of sites use external systems. So if there was a widget or some sort of script that timed out, there's been a cloud issue with Google. And so if some of that happened, then there's a chance that this could happen. But I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick in 3 minutes, right, guys? This is, gals, this is what we were able to create. So imagine spending 3 to 5 minutes or 10 minutes in sales prep after reading this and being able to come to them and say, hey, look, you have a great website. Like the design's good. So I'm not knocking that, but we really need to work on your conversion optimization, SEO, performance and visibility. You want to give them a PDF or you want to quickly spot without spending a ton of time what to do. All you have to do is go to the next page here and our application will actually tell you, under next steps, what areas. So under user experience, the 404 is important. Under conversion optimization, based off of impact, it can tell you what things to speak to them about. So you don't have to deal with medium or low impact items. You can talk to them about the things that matter, right? And so again, you can kind of see how that looks over here. What I wanted to show you was, this is our new e-commerce audit that we're launching. And so here we've broken down the section into the site audit into different sections, not just by category. And give me a second. And when you close it down, it pulls up here. So you can see there's a new user interface that we've built in. But what's cool is when we now go into, you know, you can take a look at the product page, the home page. We've built in GMB. So you have Google My Business now connected in here, page performance, all of that's in place. And so this right here is just, this is what our system can deliver, and it's high value. If you want to hide or change anything, you want to, you know, you want to give them context to your report. Again, we've had someone write all of this out, so it makes sense. So that things, you know, are positioned again to deliver value and communicate, you know, why they should be working with you. On the back end, this is stuff that you won't see off of any application out there, but you can connect your awards and certifications. So those of you that are part of programs like UGurus or WP Elevation or certification partners with HubSpot or Digital Marketer, you can add these all on. You know, you can add personalized consultation CTAs so that when someone comes to the end of a report like this, you can put a timer around it. Like, hey, look, you know, what we're offering here, you can connect your Calendly link. You can do all of that type of stuff in here. You can add testimonials and manage your testimonials so your testimonials show up. Categories that need to be shown. So if you want to show, hide specific sections, add your own categories, all of that kind of stuff. And then a whole bunch more could be done. Lead widgets right now, we have a lead widget for the website audit and the ROI calculator. We're building one for an SEO grader and a page performance grader in the next couple of months. All right, all of that kind of is included on the pro and agency plan. So just kind of wanted to show you a little bit about that because we talked about reporting, but this system, as I mentioned, is so much more. You can hide things like the learn more recommendation, drag and drop, change the priority of performance, you name it, we can kind of do it. So I'm going to pause now. I kind of wanted to do a little show versus tell. And now I'm happy to answer questions about strategy from lead gen, sales, about the application, anything that you have.
Thanks, Cliff. Why don't you, if you're going to do that, why don't you unshare and turn your camera on? Anybody else who'd love to see your smiley faces?
That works.
Cool. I do have one question here from Jack. He says, how much of the audit score is based on the pass-fail decision that is made during the setup?
All of it, right? For at the end of the day, the scores are based off of the impact that it could make. So we have a low, medium, and high impact. So we use that as the majority of the algorithm. So based off of how many points, like, so let's just say you have 20 audit points in user experience. The combination and average of the low, medium, and high impact is divided by the total score. And then there's a couple other modifications, but in essence, that's how it's generated. So if you were working with someone and you feel like digital branding is really, really important, you can increase the impact of certain points. And if you feel like it's not as important, then you can reduce it. But so you can control the scoring, or you can remove points you don't want, but all of it is based off of pass and fail.
Cool.
So Mike asked, when is this offer going to run out? So Mike, specifically at this point, it's there for 4 days. Obviously, I know you. I know a lot of people out here. Guys, I don't do false scarcity, all that nonsense. I'm here to help. That's a limited thing there to hopefully get you guys in. But for whatever reason, come back to me. Just mention Barry and Ursula, and we'll hook you up. We'll honor this deal. I'll give you at least 90 days because we're making some big changes in our app. But I'll 90 days for sure for those of y'all that are interested.
Cool. I have a question.
Yes.
So if you're going to promote this as far as a lead magnet or something like that, would you offer it for free? Would you offer it for like $97, $197? How would you promote that? Because sometimes I think free is, people look at that differently than at least paying a little bit.
Definitely. So the biggest question I would ask Barry, like I'd ask you or I'd ask anyone else who's considering this question, would be first, how full is your pipeline? Okay. So I say that because at the end of the day, if you don't have time to take in very many new leads, you have to charge, because that's the fastest way to qualify leads. So my recommendation is, if you are short on time or cash strapped on time, not money, strapped for time, then definitely charge. Then the other thing would be, I would say you have to consider your niche. All right. So for example, I can't speak to like automotive restoration, but I can modeling as well as commercial construction. Okay, commercial construction, I can charge all day long $1,500 for an audit and a strategy call. But if I did that in the home remodel space, no go. I have clients in the home remodel space that'll pay me $10, $15, $20, $30,000, but they're not willing to speak to me. Why? Because they have a mindset of hands, and I really don't know and understand this stuff. So they're not paying. Irrespectively, they're just not paying. So I would say you have to test it out in your niche. The one thing that has worked out very, very well for a foot in the door is, hey, we're going to charge you $9.99, and what we're going to do is give you an audit. We're going to give you a strategy consultation and include 3 hours. And that 3 hours is a great way to get your foot in the door, do some work, and then sell more. So we have people that do, like John Falk, for example, his one is $1,500, I believe now. And it comes with a couple of hours, the strategy call, and the audit. So I would say you have to test it in your specific niche to see what works well. I completely agree. People sometimes don't value free in many cases. And then also in my business, Barry, most of my clients are going to be $1 to $50 million, mostly in the $10 to $50 million range. So them giving me their time is much more valuable than $400 or $500. Again, it's just the way we've strategically done this. I do not send 50 emails out a week. If I am looking for leads, I would send strategically, 2 to 3 emails a day, very targeted, to get that conversation started.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. And another way to do this is to specifically tell them, here are 3 or 4 quick things that I've found, and ultimately start from there. And then don't give them a full audit. Don't waste your time doing a full audit. Just talk to them about it. That's what I'd say.
Cool.
Okay, so then Clyde, you mentioned what's the difference between the pricing on the main site and the special? So on the agency plan, you're getting 4 months free when you pay for 8. So when you pay for 8 months, you're getting 4 months free. And on the pro plan, you're paying for 9 months, you're getting 3 months free, and you're getting a free add-on. So that, I mean, there's a considerable difference in the price points. All right, and there was, oh, cool. And Barry, one of the other things is better leads that we've created, guys. So one of the other cool things that we've created with My Web Audit, I didn't really speak on it here, is this thing called better leads, where you can, in essence, go in and type what I did, automate, car restoration Phoenix, and click import, and change your criteria to 50 or 100 or whatever it may be, and our app will actually run a predefined set of scans, like things like page performance, schema, open graph, SSL, and then tell you which of those sites you should maybe speak to. And you can do data enrichment to find their email or their social information. So it actually saves a ton of time when you're doing lead gen and prospecting as well.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. You have the ROI calculator, and then you also have, I think you said competition.
Yeah, a competitive analysis. Yes.
Is that separate, or is that part of? I'm not looking at the plans right now.
The competitive analysis comes with the pro and the agency.
Okay.
All right, and for those of y'all that are looking at it, here's the link, and that's to the competitive analysis. I just shared that in the group. All right, here is what the ROI looks like, and here is the competitive one, just so you guys can take a look at that. And the cool part that we like about the competitive analysis, when I'm working with people who don't want to invest, Barry, I show them what the competition's doing. So I never just pick people they say are the competition. I try to find the best companies in the city and I run it against them. And I say, look, can you believe these people are doing this? And that's when they're like, oh, well, if they're doing it, we kind of need to do it too now.
Oh, wow. Because that's interesting, because normally I just ask the customer what they feel their main competitors are.
Yep.
But they may not, they're guessing sometimes, they don't really know who their real competitors are.
That's correct. And so Barry, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll pick one of theirs so they feel heard, and then what I'll do is go online and look for others. And oftentimes I'll tell them, like, how did you figure out this is your competition? Well, we see the ads. Where? In a print magazine. So I'll say something like, well, I just did a Google search for your primary keyword and they're doing an ad. So this is why I picked them, because they're really your competition online.
Gotcha.
All right, Clyde says, have another question. More like a favor. I'm very interested in signing up, but I am getting married at the end of congratulations. I want to be back to the States until July 15th anywhere I can. Yes. Yeah, please, Clyde, you can connect. I'm in your group, so hit me up or direct message me. No worries at all. Congratulations, and enjoy your honeymoon and that time. You're most welcome.
So if anybody's not in Cliff's group, the group is awesome. There's a lot of great information in there. Cliff also does some webinars, and also I've missed the last couple because they just fell at the wrong time, but some knowledge share, I think.
Yeah, so we call expert sessions. We had John come in and speak on ROI and sales. You guys have heard him speak as well. We just had Olivier speak on cold email. We're having Brent Weaver, who you obviously know, Barry, come in and speak on closing high end deals for agencies later this month, and then we have someone coming in on LinkedIn and a few other things as well. So. Oh yeah, hey Laura, and yeah, so just looking to that, and again, I tell everyone, find some ways for those of you that aren't willing to commit to a payment. Don't worry about that. Go in, get a trial, DM me or let me know. We have a quick wins video. I always tell people, it doesn't take much to get a positive return on investment, right? So not selling this at all, but we have some actionable templates and strategies. Use them. And if you even work with this on a couple of your clients and 1 or 2 leads, in the next 30 days, you should be able to generate a few $1,000s fairly easy. If you don't have any leads in your pipeline or any clients, DM me and I'll talk to you about some other ways. Again, I tell people you always have to invest either time or money or both in order to do effective lead generation. So just be willing to commit. If you don't have money, then just invest that time, but you will get results. Cool. Do we have any other questions?
Alrighty, well, don't think so. Cliff, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We'll be posting this in the next, if everything goes well, 24 to 48 hours. I'm trying to get the videos out there faster if people want to go back and review. And also, if anybody out there has a guest or somebody they think, or yourself, would like to come on AgencyTribe, reach out to myself or Ursh.
Awesome.
Our next session is June 17th at 6 o'clock, and it's actually going to be a surprise. We're actually, it's Ursh and myself and a couple of other people we're bringing on as guests. So hopefully everybody can join us.
Awesome. Hey, thanks everyone. Again, Barry, appreciate it. Everyone, thanks for your time. Have a great day or evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.